Hey gang, Johnny back with another Redneck Deck Tech, and this time we're going to be talking about Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. This is an awesome one-drop, five-color commander that I built a Typal Heroes deck around using only creatures from the Marvel sets, and other than land, only cards that have been printed in a Marvel set or a Marvel Secret Lair. So stick around and check out what I did with everybody's favorite flirkin' responsible one-eyed spy hero. So check it out.
So let's get into the deck. As always here on Redneck Deck Tech, I'm only showing you my decks that I own in paper. This is no theory crafting. These are real decks with real magical cards and real glare on the real magical cards. Sorry. Not helping, is it? All right. Hold that thought. So first up, we have our commander, Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. 1 white for a 2/1 legendary human spy hero with power up. The power up cost is Wooburg. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on Nick Fury, then look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may put a hero, equipment, or vehicle card from among them onto the battlefield. If it's a double-faced card, you may transform it. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Now, how Power Up works is, you can't see it on this because it's a full art alt-T version, whatchamacallit, of the card. Power Up is reduced by the creature's mana value the turn it comes in. So if I power Nick up on the turn he comes in, he costs 4. He costs Uberg. But if I play him on turn 1 for some ridiculous reason, and then want to power him up later, we add the woo, he costs the full Wooburg. So that's how Power Up works. But as always, when we're building a deck, we gotta eat our veggies, right? So let's start with ramp. Now remember that apart from land, every card in this deck is from either a Marvel set or a Marvel Secret Lair. So every printing, everything. So this is a Secret Lair Soul Ring with Iron Man's Arc Reactor. Then we've got Earth's Mightiest Emblem, another Secret Lair card. This is our Arcane Signet. Then we've got Farseek. This is from the Fantastic Four Secret Lair. I just really love this art. If you hear something popping in the background, that's my cat scratching my office chair. Thank you, Gandalf. Please stop at any time. Chromatic Lantern, also from the Fantastic Four Commander deck. I'm not usually a big fan of Chromatic Lantern in decks, but in a 5-color deck, it comes in really handy. The Soul Stone, because I was fortunate enough to crack one in a Spider-Man pack, and if I'm gonna play a Marvel deck, may as well play a Soul Stone, because I own one. Shield Spy Satellite. Felwar Stone's fantastic in a 5-color deck because it's always going to tap for something useful, because you can use any color and your opponents have them all. Another lucky open, the Mind Stone. This is also a proxy-free deck. Not very many of my decks are, but this one is. So I cracked a Mind Stone in a Play Booster box, so we put it in here. Relic of Legends. I think this card's phenomenal in this deck. It's phenomenal in any Legends Matters deck, but all our heroes are legends, so we can this ramps us immensely. Nature's Lore from, hey, shocker, the Black Panther Secret Lair. Groot, see? Then Birds of Paradise. This is the only creature in the deck that is not in some way affiliated with the Avengers. And then that's our ramp package. And now we get on to our draw, where we see Willie Lumpkin, Postman. Legendary 1/3 Human Citizen. Willie Lumpkin can't be blocked. Whenever Willie Lumpkin deals combat damage to an opponent, you draw a card, and that player may draw a card. If they do, that player can't attack you or permanents you control during their next turn. Now, some of you might say, what do you mean? Willie Lumpkin was never an Avenger. But Willie Lumpkin was Stan Lee, and Stan Lee created the Avengers, so no one is more Avenger than Stan Lee. But someone who also has never seen combat in the comics much, but is also totally an Avenger, is Jarvis, Earth's mightiest butler. I'm pretty sure this is from I don't remember what it's called, the Captain America Heroes Typal Commander deck. It's a 1/4 legendary creature human advisor. Whenever you cast a hero spell, draw a card. For 2 and a blue, it's perfect in this deck. Then we've got Avengers Assemble. 4 and a white for an enchantment with flash. Heroes you control get +2/+2. At the beginning of each end step, if you attacked with a hero this turn or a hero entered the battlefield under your control this turn, draw a card. You're going to want to be attacking a lot with this deck, so this will draw you a card on at least all of your turns. Folk Hero. This was originally from the Baldur's Gate set. It's a legendary enchantment background for 1 and a white. Commander creatures you own have, whenever you cast a spell that shares a creature type with this creature, draw a card. This ability triggers only once per turn. Nick Fury, famously, Human Spy Hero. So all your humans trigger Folk Hero, and all your heroes trigger Folk Hero. Love on the Battlefield. Okay, 1, fantastic art here. 2, it's a 1 and is it 1 red-blue enchantment. Whenever you attack with exactly 2 creatures, those creatures gain first strike until end of turn, then draw a card. Whenever either of those creatures deals combat damage to a player this combat, put a +1/+1 counter on it. You're going to be attacking. You're going to draw cards. But sometimes you want cards even when you don't attack, and this is from the Doom Precon. This is obviously a pile of villains playing pool. Black Market Connections, 2 and a black for an enchantment. At the beginning of your first main phase, choose 1 or more. You can create a treasure token and lose 1 life, draw a card, lose 2 life, or create a 3/2 colorless shapeshifter creature token with changeling and lose 3 life. So you could be paying up to 6 life a turn if you're Josh Lee Kwai, but I'm not, so I'm usually drawing a card. Then Kindred Discovery. 3 blue for an enchantment. As it enters, choose a creature type. Spoiler alert, we're choosing heroes, kids. Whenever a creature you control of the chosen type enters or attacks, draw a card. Then we're on to removal. This is our single target removal, starting off with Chaos Warp. Do I really need to read it? It's flipping Chaos Warp. It does what Chaos Warp do. You get rid of a thing, and you hope you flip into a thing that's not as bad for you as the thing you got rid of. Grim Fate is one of the, I don't know what they're calling it for this. This is one of the comic art cards. It's Beast Within. 2 and a green, blow something up, they get a beast. It's clobbering time. Ben Grimm Punching Super Skrull. For 2 and a green, it's a sorcery and you choose 1. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature an opponent controls. Or you destroy target artifact or enchantment. Now, 2 and a green is overcosted for either of these effects, but it has rebound, which means on your upkeep, you cast it again. So you kill something to get your attack through, and then on your next turn, you, during your upkeep, blow up the most annoying artifact or enchantment on the battlefield. So it's pretty well worth it there. Generous Gift. Same deal. Blow something up, make an elephant. Then Otawaro. I did tell you that the mana base has nothing to do with Marvel, right? Well, this is a mana base. Tap for a blue or 3 and a blue, discard it. bounce an artifact, creature, enchantment, or planeswalker. It costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature you control, so you'll frequently be channeling this for just a solitary blue. And then Deadly Rollick from the Deadpool Secret Lair, because it's Deadpool riding a unicorn, and what gets more comic booky than that? And this is one of my favorite pieces of comic art ever. So when my buddy Trent had one of these in his binder, I had to have it, despite already running the Clint Barton art Swords to Plowshares in the deck, but I rapidly replaced that with Path to Exile because that's the Captain America No More cover art by Klaus Janson and Mike Zeck, which is just incredible art. So I wanted this. Now we're into our sweepers and big field disruption, and we're going to start with another Kindred spell, Kindred Dominance, again from the Doom Precon. Choose a creature type, destroy all creatures that aren't of the chosen type. And since there aren't really that many heroes in the game, unless your opponents are playing Marvel decks, you name heroes, you'll probably blow up all their stuff. Raise Repulsor Shields is a reskin of one of my favorite board wipes for typal decks, Raise the Palisades. Choose a creature type, bounce everything that's not that creature type. Then Vandal Blast, everybody loves Vandal Blast. Blow up one thing, pay 5, blow up many things. This is one I've been putting in every deck lately because every deck needs to have graveyard hate of some type. Abstergo Entertainment from the Assassin's Creed deck taps for a colorless, pay 1 and tap it and add a mana of any color so it filters for colors, pay 3, tap it and exile it, return up to 1 target historic card from your graveyard to your hand, then exile all graveyards. So you Bajukabog everybody, but you get the best thing out of your graveyard back to your hand. And like I said, in this day and age, if you're not running some flavor of graveyard hate, you're screwing up. Dismantling Wave. 2 and a white, blow up 1 target artifact or enchantment that player controls, or you can pay a boatload of mana to cycle it, draw a card, and destroy all artifacts and enchantments. I usually just am pretty happy blowing up 1 thing that each of my opponents has. But your opponents are going to try to blow your stuff up too, so that means you need to be able to protect it. And Clever Concealment was in the commander decks and was in my hand. 2 white for an instant, phase out any number of target non-land permanents you control, and it has Convoke, so your stuff can make it cheaper. Clever Concealment's great. Also, if you don't own 1 or 2 of these for your collection, you should probably pick them up now because this version's way cheaper than the card has been in a while. Flawless Maneuver. You have a 1 mana commander, so having your commander on the battlefield to activate these free spells is pretty easy. And this gives your stuff indestructible. It's just board wipe protection, as is Heroic Intervention. This is the art for the cover of Avengers #1, and it's Heroic Intervention. You're watching a YouTube channel about Commander. I'm pretty sure you're invested in the game enough to know what flippin' Heroic Intervention does. But now we're on to the fun stuff. Now we're on to the new cards, the stuff that's the meat of the deck, and the stuff that you probably actually care about. We're going to start with our non-hero card theme cards. Earth's Mightiest Hero, 4 green for a sorcery with Teamwork 5. Reveal the top 8 cards of your library. You may put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield. If this spell was cast using Teamwork, put any number of creature cards from among them onto the battlefield. Instead, put the rest into your graveyard. Teamwork is kind of like Crew, kind of like Station. You tap 5 power worth of creatures you control, and that gives it Teamwork 5. So you tap Nick Fury and a 3 power creature, and you get all the creatures from your top 8 cards onto the battlefield. That's pretty gross. Cosmic Cube. This is a 5 mana artifact with Ward 2. Whenever you attack, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may cast a spell from among them with mana value less than or equal to the greatest power among attacking creatures you control without paying its mana cost. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. That's a lot of words, but short form is you look at the top 6 cards of your library, and if the biggest thing you're swinging with is a 5-drop, is a 5 power creature, you can cast a 5 mana value thing without paying its mana cost. And then you put the rest on the bottom of your library. You knew we had to have Thor's hammer in here, right? Because, I mean, Thor, all the versions of Thor and Captain America can swing Thor's hammer. So, Mjolnir, Hammer of Thor. 3 and a red for a legendary artifact equipment, which means Nick Fury can fetch it. When it enters, it deals 4 damage to up to 1 target creature. You double all damage equipped creature would deal. Equip worthy 1. 2 and a red, discard this card, it deals 2 damage to each creature. Equip worthy is a new flavor of equip. You can only equip this to a white or red creature, I believe. I gotta double check. I don't remember if you can equip it to blue creatures too, so tell me in the comments if I screwed that up, if it's just red and white or if it's red, white, and blue. Either way, every Captain America and every Thor can wield it because it's not only red and white. So Jane Foster, who's a Thor, who's blue and white, can still be equipped because she is still worthy. So that also means that Elishnorn is worthy and Urabrask is worthy. So a little bit of a flavor fail there, but Cap and Thor can all swing Mjolnir, so that's kind of awesome. And this is another reprint, but it's amazing in this deck. It's Franklin's Finality from the Fantastic Four Commander deck, and it is a reskin of Annie Joins Up. And when it enters, it pings a creature or planeswalker for 5, and then it doubles up triggered abilities of legendary creatures you control. And you have so many of them. So, Willie Lumpkin's legendary. You can draw 2 cards and have someone else have the opportunity to draw 2 cards. Jarvis is legendary. You can draw 2 cards. You've got a whole bunch of stuff here that's going to draw you a bunch of cards if you've got this on the battlefield. Annie Joins Up is incredible in any legendary Matters deck, and especially this one. Now, let's get to the folks. Let's get to the peoples. They're all flipping out of order, so this is going to be terrible as far as mana value order, but we're going to start with a 5-drop. Captain Marvel, Earth's Protector. 3 white for a legendary creature, human Kree hero. She has flash, she has flying, she has lifelink, and she has power up. 5 white. Put a +1/+1 counter and an indestructible counter on Captain Marvel. That means that if you want to power her up on the same turn you cast her, she only costs an additional 2 generic mana. So basically, if you look at the power up as her mana value for the turn she comes in with a +1/+1 indestructible counter. And she's a base 5/4. There's a lot of flyers in the heroes, so you're going to run a lot of evasive creatures. And there's a good many that just have good abilities that can double with Annie Joins Up, like Daredevil, Man Without Fear. 2 red-white for a legendary creature, human hero. He has vigilance and haste. Radar Sense. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. Whenever you attack, you may exile the top card of your library. If it's a hero card, Daredevil gets +2/+1 until end of turn, and you may play that card this turn. That means you can choose to do this twice if you've got your doubler going on. And he's a 3/4. Or maybe he's a 5/5 if you had a hero on top of your deck. She-Hulk Wall Breaker. 5 and a red, legendary creature, Gamma hero. She's a 5/5 with trample, and other heroes you control have trample. And whenever a hero you control becomes blocked, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature for each creature blocking it. Which is kind of like Rampage, only a little different. This one's one of my favorites because it's Iron Man Futurist Paragon. 4 blue for a legendary artifact creature, human hero. He's a 5/5 with flying, and at the beginning of combat on your turn, target artifact or creature becomes an artifact creature with base power and toughness 5/5 and gains flying. So on the turn you play him, you can make your 2/1 Nick Fury into a 5/5 flyer. And if you've powered Nicky up, he's a 7/7 flyer. This thing can be a house. Director Nick Fury. This is from the Avengers Assemble precon. I don't remember. It's the Captain America precon. He's a 2/4 that costs Jeskai. Legendary human spy hero. Hero spells you cast cost 1 generic less to cast. Doesn't do anything for Nick Fury's casting cost, but he does reduce Iron Man a little bit. Whenever you attack, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a hero card from among them and put that card into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. It's another way to dig for more heroes. So I love this card. I think it's great. And 4 toughness means that it doesn't get killed off by a lot of the sweepers people are running these days that are dealing 3 damage to everything. Nor does Professor Hulk, because him a hoss. Professor Hulk is a legendary creature Gamma Scientist hero for 4 blue with trample. He is a 6/6, and whenever he deals combat damage to a player, draw that many cards. What Professor Hulk really says is 4 blue, make opponent cast target removal spell. Because you're hardly ever going to untap with Professor Hulk. Because nobody wants to get whopped that hard and then give you that many cards. So you're probably not going to untap with him very often. But that makes one of the cards we got coming up even sweeter. Not this one, though. This one's sweet independent of Hulk. Hawkeye, Master Marksman. 1 and a red for a 2/2 legendary human archer hero with first strike and reach. And he has trick arrows. Whenever Hawkeye becomes tapped, you may pay 1 generic up to 3 times. When you do, choose up to that many. Net, target creature can't block this turn. Explosive, Hawkeye deals 2 damage to target player. Boomerang, discard a card, then draw a card. I see the first and third of those being way more useful than the second, because really 2 damage to somebody's face is super medium. But if you can kill somebody with it, then it's great. And if you've got a way to tap and untap your guys, awesome. Wolverine, Claws Out. 3 and a green for a legendary mutant berserker hero. He's a 2/5. And you may have Wolverine assign his combat damage as though he weren't blocked. And whenever a mutant you control attacks, double its power until end of turn. I chose this Wolverine over Wolverine Best There Is because of that second bit, because there are several mutants that I'm running in the deck, and I think it's awesome. I think this is from the Jumpstart set. I get confused in this set because Jumpstart and the Commander decks use the same set symbol. So sometimes I can't remember if it's from a Commander deck or from Jumpstart, but I'm pretty sure this is Jumpstart. Captain America, Wings of Freedom. 2 and a white for a legendary human soldier hero. Flying, first strike, ward 1. Whenever Cap attacks, each other hero you control gets +X until end of turn, where X is Captain America's toughness. And he is a 3/1. It's not much of a buff, honestly, but it's great art, and I really wanted to use a Sam Wilson card, and I am looking for space to put Captain America's shield in here so I can give him the shield and give him +0/+8 and then make all my things +9/+9 and just murder people. But I haven't figured that out yet. So if you figure out a cut to add in the shield, let me know. Black Panther, Vanguard. 2 green-white for a legendary human warrior hero. Whenever another non-token hero you control enters, choose 1. Create a 1/1 white soldier creature token, or creatures you control get +1/+1 till end of turn. And he is a 4/4. Just generically good. Nothing generic about Storm Windrider. She's sick and gross and gorgeous, and the card's fantastic. 1 green-white for a legendary mutant hero, 4/4 with flying. Creatures with flying can't attack you or block creatures you control. Whenever you cast a spell that targets 1 or more creatures, those creatures gain flying until end of turn. I don't really cast very many buffs. The first part of this is worth it for me. Other people's flyers can't attack me, and they can't block my stuff. Yay. And like I said, I got a lot of flyers in here, so my stuff's already hard to block, and this just makes a ton of my stuff flat out unblockable. You know what's going to be unblockable? Monica Rambeau. 2 and a white for a legendary human hero with flying and prowess. And she's a 3/3. But for 2 red, white, you can transform Monica Rambeau and activate this only as a sorcery. And she flips into Photon, Living Light. Flying, hexproof prowess. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature you control, and she's a 4/4. Now these transform cards in the Marvel sets, you can cast them on either side. But if you are milling them onto the battlefield somehow or putting them onto the battlefield, unless, like Nick Fury says, you may transform it, unless you're putting it on the battlefield with Nick Fury, it's always going to come in on the Monica Rambeau side. It's always going to come in on the front side, and that's the sign with the little up arrow on the front. More insane Stormness. Storm, Queen of Wakanda. And she is from the Wakanda Forever precon. I think it's called Wakanda Forever. If not, it's the freaking Black Panther precon. You're smart people, you can figure it out. 3 green-white for a legendary mutant noble hero with flying. She's a 4/5. And whenever she attacks, until end of turn, another target attacking creature gains flying and gets +X/+0, where X is Storm's power. And she has a killer defense too. Whenever a creature with flying attacks you, Storm deals damage equal to her power to that creature. So whenever something flies at you, Storm throws lightning at them until they fall down, go die. Another mutant. Now you're seeing why I wanted all these the Wolverine that pumps mutants. Wolverine, Fierce Fighter. 2 and a Gruul, 2 red-green for a legendary mutant berserker hero. He's a 3/5 with haste. When he enters, he fights up to 1 other target creature. If damage would be dealt to Wolverine, instead that damage is dealt, but all other damage already dealt to him is healed. This is their way of handling Wolverine's healing factor. So he comes in, and let's say he comes in and he fights a 3/3. So he's got 3 damage marked on him, but he's got haste, so then you attack. Somebody blocks with a 3/3 thinking, oh, well, I'll kill Wolverine. Except the 3 damage that's already marked on him is instantly healed, and then he takes 3. So Wolverine becomes pretty darn hard to kill through combat damage. Wolverine will also survive combat with a 3/3 double strike creature. Because if he'll take 3 first strike damage, But then in the main combat damage, his 3 damage will be healed and he'll take 3 other damage and kill the double strike guy. Just thought of that. That's why I had to go do the thing. Jennifer Walters. 1 and a white for a 2/3 legendary human advisor hero. Your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. Okay, solid. 3 green, white, white. Transform Jennifer Walters, again, only as a sorcery. Or you can cast her on her backside, which is the Sensational She-Hulk. She is a 6/6 legendary gamma hero with reach and trample. Your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. Whenever a creature you control is dealt damage, you may have the Sensational She-Hulk deal that much damage to any target once per turn. This means that somebody blasphemous acts while this is on the battlefield, and you can deal 13 right to their face. I like that. I like shooting people in the face with cards, not real things. That's for me. Captain America, Living Legend. This card has played incredibly well in the games I've gotten in with it. It is 1, a white and a blue for a 3/4 legendary human soldier hero with vigilance. And it gives your other stuff pseudo-vigilance. Whenever a creature you control becomes tapped during your turn, if it's the first time that creature has become tapped this turn, untap it. So Jennifer Walters swings in. Cap says, oh no, Jen, you untap. Cool. It's a simple effect, but like I said, it's been very effective. Captain America, Team Leader. This is one of the best cards in the deck by a long shot. It's Jeskai, so it's red, white, and blue. And note, a friend of mine pointed this out when I was playing. They rearranged Jeskai just for this, just so that the Captain America Team Leader would be red, white, and blue. That's a pretty nice little Easter egg there, Watsy. He's a 3/3 legendary human soldier hero. And whenever another hero you control enters, it gains vigilance and haste until end of turn. Put a +1/+1 counter on that hero and a +1/+1 counter on Captain America. He gets huge. Huge, I tell you. He's the face commander for the whatever the heck name of it is. It's the Captain America Precon. Scarlet Witch, Chaotic Avenger. 2 blue-red for a 3/3 legendary mutant warlock hero with flying. Whenever Scarlet Witch deals combat damage to a player, look at the top 2 cards of your library, then exile them face down. Then you may cast a hero or non-creature spell from among the cards exiled with Scarlet Witch without paying its mana cost. So what this means is that if you exile 2 heroes, you cast one of them this turn, and then you deal combat damage with Scarlet Witch next turn, and you can cast the second one if you don't exile another hero that you like better. This deck does get expensive. There's a lot of big creatures in it, but this is one of the best. Captain Marvel's Shooting Star is just an absolute flippin' house. She's 5 white white for a legendary human Kree hero. She's a 6/6 with flying, and whenever Captain Marvel enters or attacks, exile up to 1 target creature. That creature's controller gains life equal to its power. Whenever a creature other than Captain Marvel is exiled from the battlefield, you gain life equal to its power. So she comes in, she exiles an opponent's, I don't know, big thing. The opponent gains life equal to its power, but a creature other than Captain Marvel has been exiled, so you also gain life equal to its power. So every time she swings, she exiles something, and you and the creature's controller gain life equal to its power. We had Mjolnir. So we got to have Mjolnir's wielder, Thor, god of thunder. 3 red for a 5/5 legendary god warrior hero with flying. When he enters, exile target equipment, instant, or sorcery card from your graveyard. Until the end of your next turn, you may play that card. And whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Thor deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to any target. This card is an absolute bomb in Limited, and it's also pretty well a house in every other format. It's just great. Black Widow, Agile Avenger. 1 red for a 2/2 legendary human spy hero with menace, and I hate that everyone very quickly caught on to how good this card was because I wanted to buy like 5 of them, and now they're expensive. Whenever an opponent draws their second card each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Black Widow and you draw a card. Yes, it is a slightly overpriced Fairy Mastermind in Boros colors. This card's amazing, and you should get a copy and put it in every Boros deck because Boros, kind of weak on real card draw. So, and you probably find yourself playing against a bunch of blue decks which draw a bunch of cards. So, play this. And since you're going to play that, you also ought to play King T'Challa, who's 1 white for a 3/2 legendary human noble hero with flash. And whenever a player draws their second card each turn, you draw a card. This works for you too. So if you draw a second card, it will trigger King T'Challa and you'll draw a third card. And also, you can pay 4 white and transform King T'Challa, activate only as a sorcery. And that is Black Panther Hope Enduring. He's a 3/3 with flash and double strike and prevent all damage that would be dealt to Black Panther. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. I had forgotten all of the cool things it does because really he's in here for this side. He's in here to be another Fairy Mastermind effect because I like to draw cards and I like to draw more cards than my opponents. Another transform card, this one's from the Spider-Man set, and it's Miles Morales. He's 1 and a green for a 1/2 legendary human citizen hero. When he enters, you put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures, or you can transform him for 3 red, green, white into Ultimate Spider-Man. Or you can cast him on this side as a 4/3 with first strike and haste and camouflage. Pay 2 generic, put a +1/+1 counter on Ultimate Spider-Man. He gains hexproof and becomes colorless until end of turn. Whenever you attack, double the number of each kind of counter on each spider and legendary creature you control. Each legendary creature you control. Other than Birds of Paradise, I don't think there are any non-legendary creatures in the deck. So you'll be buffing a whole lot of things. Speaking of putting counters on a whole bunch of things, here's Agent Phil Coulson. 1 and a white for a 2/2 legendary human spy hero with vigilance. Tap him, put a +1/+1 counter on each other hero you control. Coulson's the ultimate support staff. He just makes everybody around him better. Hawkeye, Avenging Archer. 2 blue for a legendary human archer hero. He's a 3/4 with reach, and whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, if Hawkeye dealt damage to it this turn, draw a card. And you can tap him to deal 1 damage to any target. So the way you want to do this is somebody else is killing a thing and you tap Hawkeye to sneak in there, deal 1 damage, and hey, I get to draw a card because you killed a thing. Thanks. Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings. 1 blue for a legendary human warrior hero. He's a 2/2 with first strike. Whenever you draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter on Shang-Chi. Seems kind of mild, right? Seems kind of meh. When the 10th +1/+1 counter is put on Shang-Chi, you draw 5 cards and gain 5 life. That got really good really fast. So, I like him. This one's fun. He's Bob. The Sentry Golden Guardian, 3 and a white, for a 5/5 legendary human hero with flying, vigilance, and indestructible. When he enters, target opponent creates the Void, a legendary 5/5 black horror villain creature token with flying, indestructible, and the Void attacks each combat if able. So you have a Sentry. They have a Void. Sentry has vigilance. Void does not. You can, and they're both indestructible. You can block Void all day long. Or you can both gang up and kill an opponent. Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards. 2 and a blue for a 2/4 legendary human scientist hero with vigilance and reach. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you've cast a non-creature spell this turn, draw a card. Pay red, green, white, blue, and tap him. Copy target triggered ability you control twice. You may choose new targets for the copies. There's so many abilities, so many triggered abilities in this deck, this could end up copying something truly disgusting. And our final creature in the deck, Captain Marvel, Apex Avenger, 5 red-white for a 4/4 legendary human Kree hero with flying, double strike, and indestructible. Whenever you put 1 or more counters on another creature, if it's not a Kree, you may put the same number and kind of counters on Captain Marvel. So I can't power up one Captain Marvel and put a counter, an indestructible counter on this Captain Marvel, but otherwise I can put a pile of counters on this Captain Marvel. And that's the deck. I mean, yes, there's land, but we'll run through the land really quickly because we're running shock lands, we're running fetch lands, we're running all 10 fetches, we're running a pile of shocks. Avengers Tower is one of the new ones. It taps for generic, it taps for 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana only to cast a hero spell or to activate an ability of a hero source. Pay 4, tap it, look at the top 3 cards of your library. You can reveal a hero card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. If you're activating that, you are in trouble. We're running all the green triomes. So Zeotora's Proving Ground, again, Bloodstained Mire, Shockland, Fetch, Shock, Shock. Cavern of Souls, we're always naming hero. Triome, Shock, Shock. Exotic Orchards, just like Felwar Stone, you love your opponents having colors because you have all those colors in your deck too. Command Tower, I think I need to find a better art Command Tower from one of these sets. This one's fine, but I gotta poke around. Shock, Triome, Secluded Courtyard, surprise, surprise, you're gonna name heroes. Shock, Triome, Shock, Fetch. Plaza of Heroes. Plaza of Heroes is great in this deck. You're playing a ton of legendary stuff, so it's frequently casting for any color. And you're going to have a ton of legends out, so it'll almost always tap for any color. And yeah, you can use it to give one thing protection. Save it from a board wipe. Save it from a removal spell. Fetch, 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 Triumph. Path of Ancestry, because you're almost always going to get to scry off of it. And we're running 3 of the newer Turbulent lands from Secrets of Strixhaven. These are great because you're running a lot of fetches and you're running a lot of shocks, so the potential for your mana base to beat the crap out of you is pretty high, but the Turbulent lands can come in later and almost always be untapped, and they're fetchable. So I love the Turbulent lands in this deck. And that's Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's So far, it's my most fun deck to play right now. I'm an old comic book geek, so I love it. And I love all the art. I love being able to summon my favorite superheroes to beat the crap out of my friends. And it's surprisingly resilient and has a whole lot of threats that have to be dealt with very quickly. So if there's anything you think I left out from the Marvel sets, let me know. I'll take it under advisement. Till next.
So that's Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., my bracket 2 build for this deck. And I hope you enjoyed it. And if you're still here after all this time, you should probably give us a like and hit that subscribe button. It really does help the channel quite a bit. Till next time, bye.